With that, we make a final and immediate call. Final and immediate call to pre-grid for 550 Superbike. 550 Superbike, final and immediate call to pre-grid. Brought to you by the good folks at Octane and Controlled Chaos and Next Helmets. Octane Controlled Chaos putting up $800 for first, $500 for second, $300 for third, $200 for fourth, and $100 for fifth. Next Helmets putting up $300 for first, $200 for second, and $100 for third. So a cash payout of $1,100 for first, $700 for second, and $400 for third today. Big thanks to Octane, Controlled Chaos, and Next Helmets for their support of this one. And that is 550 Superbike. Coming up your way next, final call, 550 Superbike. All right, here is our field rundown for 550 Superbike. At the back of the grid, riding bike number 166 on the Kiel Wananabe Racing sponsored Honda Hawk, that is Chuck Burnett. Next to him, you're going to find bike number 413 on the AirTech Streamlining machine, that is Mike Root. Second on the grid, bike 24, sponsored by Jim Granger, Dunlop, West Coast Cylinder Heads, Palmdale Honda, and Squareflow Services. That is Russ Granger. And on the pole, with more sponsors known to man that exist on this planet, and I'm going to go through the list one time. Octane, Controlled Chaos, Russ Brown Motorcycle Law Attorney, Dunlop, JC Painting, GPR Stabilizers, Graves, Wheels in Motion, Scorpion Helmets, OFD Racing, Driven Sprockets, Cortec Leathers, EBC Brakes, Cali Photography, Carrozzeria Rims, Motul, Optima Bodyworks, The S Shop, Saw Services, Prolong, Liquid Nitro, and Spoke and Wheel Bike Shop. We're talking about none other than number 61, J. Sizzle Gibbs. So for that, folks, thank you very, very much for coming out to the Willow Springs Wild West Shootout presented by Motoyard. And it's support like that that helps this move forward. Really, really appreciate you. So again, for those of you riders that are going by, if you hear someone screaming at you in that turn 3 area, you'll know it's them. Ladies and gentlemen, stand by for racing. And JC Gibbs has a big wheelie as he gets off the grid. Looks like Granger's going to get himself a pretty good start when all is said and done. And weaving back and forth as JC Gibbs had to make some serious room between himself and Mike Root as he gets into turn 1 and takes the whole shot away from Granger. Wow. I think Chuck Burnett was our rider that went off in turn number 1 as I did not see him take the start. So tough break for bike number 166 as he pulled in before the start apparently. Needless to say, it is Gibbs, Granger, and Root in that order. Break for Burnett. Little known fact, Burnett, the husband to one Ellen Lawson, who sang our national anthem this week. Magnificently, I might add. It's not often you get a live rendition of the national anthem. It's even more rare than you get one that's as beautiful as Ellen, sweetheart, thank you very much. And Cali Photography is in the house. And it is up, girlfriend. Cali Photography taking pictures all day long. You can check them out in the Willow Springs gift shop right downstairs throughout the day. So be sure to check them out. In the meantime, Gibbs and Granger going back and forth side by side through turn 8. Gibbs is holding off Granger, or should I say Granger got inside of Gibbs. They come down through turn 9 for the first time. Granger with the lead over Gibbs down the front straightaway. 24 followed by 61. Down the front stretch they come, then you'll find Mike Root just behind that bike number 413. Gibbs using the draft, pulls to the inside of Granger going into turn 1, but cannot make the pass. Stays with Granger throughout, however. That looks to be a pretty good battle in this one. Again, we have 8 laps, so this is a typical sprint race distance that we're used to seeing out here. 8 laps in this one, and there's no stranger to this facility whatsoever. puts it back on, and rides a bucking Bronco back out into the track. Our fans in turn 3 had an up-close and personal view of it. Mike Root went way wide. I saw him enter the corner, and I was just about to say, I don't think that's going to happen, and it didn't. He went off onto the outside of turn 3 and hopped it back on, but when he did, it really clipped that curb and bucked him off for just a moment, but he hung onto it, and he's back underway down the back straightaway. So a moment there for Mike Root, aboard bike 413. In the meantime, the battle between Granger and Gibbs continues. Granger with the lead on one bike length over Gibbs. Through turns 8 now into turn number 9. Down the front stretch they go. It is Granger with the lead. Gibbs using the draft, pulls alongside, makes the pass on his FCR 400. Into turn 1, Granger now looks underneath Gibbs for just a moment, but decides no and hangs in second position. Again, Mike Root coming around. We look to see him cross the slope here in just a moment. Just got very excited for a moment there. Root going off the turn 3 and then back out on track. The Paddock Diner Grill will be closing at 3 p.m. 1 hour from now. The Paddock Diner Grill closing at 3 p.m. Oh, we have a bit of a situation out on track, as I believe Jim Granger is off the pace. Russ Granger, my bad. Russ Granger off the pace, bike number 24. Don't know if he went off track or had a problem as I looked up. Apparently, coming out of turn 2, Granger went off the track, got it back on, but that left, Gibbs to his own devices, enabling him to get away. So, exiting turn 2, Granger went off track for just a moment, brought it back on, but that really put a dent in him being able to hang with the likes of Gibbs. I mentioned Jim Granger. Jim is Russ's dad, so forgive me for getting that squared away. But Jim, we gave you a plug too, so how about that? Russ Granger still on track now, second position, but a distant second to JC Gibbs, as Gibbs takes a look underneath his left shoulder and realizes, wow, either I'm going real fast or something must have happened to Russ, and that appears to be the case. So Granger, second position, followed by, and Root has a problem. Root now coming down the front stretch, puts an arm up, a mechanical issue. My guess is he'll slow it down and do a loop-de-loop at the end of the hot pit lane and just bring it in. Or not. Not like there's traffic behind him. Why don't we just do that to bring him in really quick? Lord. There's also something called the spirit of the rule. Anyway. Yeah, it's all JC Gibbs right now, all by himself. JC Gibbs, of course, the person behind the sponsorship of Octane and Controlled Chaos, so I guess he'll be paying himself to some degree. Nothing wrong with that, I suppose. Cross flags are out for JC Gibbs. 4 down, 4 to go for JC, as Granger has it back together and is in hot pursuit of JC. I don't know, it looks like Granger's putting his laps together now. We've got 4 laps left to go, and despite the big mistake that was made by Granger, we're assuming it was a mistake. I don't believe there was contact forcing him off the track in turn 2 earlier. But it is entirely possible that Granger could make a run here in the last half of the race. We'll find out soon enough. First call to pre-grid for our next race, which would be race 7. 600 modified production. First call to pre-grid, race 7, 600 modified production. 600 modified production, first call. Well, try as he might, Russ Granger is doing his best to catch up to J.C. Gibbs, but it looks like it may be all for naught, as J.C. has apparently gotten the word from his crew member showing him lap times that Granger is still a-coming, so Gibbs is twisting the throttle further to the south to keep the gap remaining the same. So in the closing stages, it is still number 61, Gibbs, in front of number 24, Granger, followed by what would have been number 413, Root, who is now out of contention. And the checkered flag flies for J.C. Gibbs.